All right, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Rambling Men Sports Podcast. As always, it is James and myself this week. James, how you doing, my man?
Fantastic. The only way we're so damn busy, the only way we can fit these in is if I do them in the fucking car on the way home from work.
Just about, just about, because I have class, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you're working, so it's usually Wednesdays at when you're coming home from work.
Slave to the man, Shane. I'm a slave to the man.
Well, we got some stuff to talk about here. NFL offseason going on right now. James, I don't even know where to begin. Should we start with our teams, or should we just jump into some of the top stories?
I think we should just jump in and talk about our teams organically, but both of our teams, I would argue, were maybe 1 and 2 in free agency. I mean, obviously it takes.
I think for sure. I think for sure top 3. I would put the Jets up there, probably at 1 or 2.
Yeah. But the reason that I say the Eagles and the Packers did a little bit better, obviously the Jets signed Le'Veon Bell, but the Eagles and Packers got good players for value, and I don't think the Jets necessarily did, but they did really improve their football team. So you're obviously right.
Yeah,
there,
as Colin Cowherd said, they got the star power. With Le'Veon Bell and C.J. Mosley, and I'm sure somebody else I'm forgetting, but we just got our two teams got some really good role players who can start immediately and make an impact. Tell me something the Eagles did outside Malik Jackson and Deshaun Jackson. I'm not sure I can name anything else.
They did, honestly, outside of that, it was a lot of restructuring of current deals to sort of make up there. They did sign Andrew Sendejo from the Vikings, who I think.
Oh, that's right. That's a very underrated move. Yes.
I don't think that's a bad safety at all, especially considering the Clouds coming off of an injury. So I like that move. I like depth moves. They're not sexy and people don't like them, but those are the ones that end up winning you championships because you're going to have good players on your team get hurt.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
If you have one of those anomaly years where none of your good players get hurt, you're probably going to go at least pretty deep in the playoffs because it happened to Dallas last year. They didn't have, really that many people get hurt, or it might have been the year before or something like that. But they had nobody on their whole offensive or defense get hurt, and they had a really good fucking year because of it.
Yep.
You're going to lose some players, so the depth players are really important. That's how I feel.
I agree completely. What happened to Timmy Jernigan?
He's an unrestricted free agent right now. I do think the Eagles come out bringing him back if he doesn't get paid elsewhere, but I think he's going to get paid.
I was curious because he was the starter on the defensive line along with Fletcher Cox, and they get Malik Jackson next to him. I mean, that's such a good defensive line. But yeah, Malik Jackson, I would agree, very good. I don't think Deshaun Jackson's that great, but he's a home run threat.
He had the most yards per catch in the league last year.
Exactly, he's a home run threat. Other than that, I'm not sure he's that great. Oh, I know.
That's all he's ever been. But what Philly needed all year last year was a player, so they couldn't put an extra man in the box.
Yeah.
Dude, every play was an intermediate pass from Wentz. I mean, it was every play, so it wasn't hard to defend. And the fact that Wentz went 21-7 when everyone knew what was happening, I didn't think he even played that bad. He didn't play great, but.
Yeah, they were in my opinion, very bland on offense last year.
Very bland, and it was just a function of them literally not having the speed receiver. Mike Wallace got hurt the first week, second series of the game, and it's just and Mac Hollins, who was the backup number 2 receiver, speed receiver, deep threat, he didn't play the whole season either. So they just they were just beat up at that position. Alshon Jeffrey missed the first 4 games. It was just there was nobody to throw to but Zach Ertz really for a long time. So.
I'm trying to think of what else the Eagles did before I dive into my Packers.
I don't think they signed a depth linebacker too. They did give a contract to Ronald Darby, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah, I did see that. They re-signed him. That's pretty big. But yeah,
I certainly like it, but I'll take a cheap 1-year deal. I mean, I still think Darby hasn't hit his potential, so hopefully he can hit that soon. But I really like what the Packers did because, like you said, like Colin Cowherd said, you got 3 good, cheap players who can all start and contribute immediately, and you only need – obviously you want an impact player in every position. That'd be fantastic. There's only certain positions where you need – you have to have an impact player. You're going to be a bad football team. So, sometimes just getting a starter is sufficient, especially at the positions like linebacker and shit like that. Like, just getting a player that you can plug and actually get some production out of is usually sufficient.
Yeah, I can remember just when the whole tampering period began last Monday, I believe. All the big names pretty much got a home that first day. C.J. Mosley, I can remember. Malik Jackson got with the Eagles. A lot of the big names, and I just remember thinking, here we go again with Green Bay. All promises, they're going to go out and be aggressive, and they're not doing it, and I was bummed. I woke up the next morning. I saw that C.J. Mosley signed with the Jets. I saw Anthony Barr, I think, was going to the Jets, although he backed out eventually and went back to the Vikings. Someone else signed, and I'm like, so we're just not going to do anything, I guess. And then I went back to sleep, woke up again, and I got all the alerts, and you texted me and were like, dude! It was Za'Darius Smith and Adrian Amos back-to-back, and then once I was just scrolling on Twitter for a little bit, then it became Preston Smith. Then it was Billy Turner, and I was like, oh, shit, we're having a day. And then we've also retained some players, Geronimo Allison being one of them, who I like a lot. He was hurt all of last year, pretty much. But he's a big receiver, and he has really good hands, in my opinion. We also kept somebody else. Justin McCray, one of our interior linemen who I like. But he's not a starter, and that's why we brought in Billy Turner. So I like that a little bit better. But about these contracts, like you said, we didn't pay a ton. But I do think they overpaid for some of them. But, I mean, it's free agency. You're going to have to overpay, guys, and that's the whole point.
You're not ever going to get every player on your team cheap. It's not how it works.
Yeah,
you have to decide where you're going to pay.
Yeah.
And that's where I honestly think that's one of the bigger differences between the good players and the good teams and the bad teams in the league, where you decide to overpay in free agency, because every team goes and gets big name free agents at some point. People would say, oh, Pats signed Stephon Gilmore to like a fucking $70 million contract in free agency. Like, they do free agency too. They got Randy Moss in free agency. Like, you just have to decide, listen, you don't want to break the bank for as good as C.J. Mosley is. I wouldn't have paid him all that money.
Yeah.
He's a middle linebacker. He's a great middle linebacker. He's probably top 3 or 4 one in the league, but that's just not a value position. It's really not, especially how the entire game is in space now instead of between the trenches like you think. I don't know, paying Earl Thomas all that money.
I don't like that at all. Where did Earl Thomas sign again?
The Ravens or the
That's
Skins
right, the Ravens.
Signing Landon Collins, who I think is a beast. I'd love to have Landon Collins. I'm not paying a safety that much money.
And that's one of the biggest takeaways I had with the Packers is I'm looking at the market value for these safeties. Landon Collins is getting $14 million a year. Earl Thomas is, I don't think, getting that much, but it's around 12.
No, Earl Thomas got fucking paid, dude.
Yeah, I know he got paid. I don't think it was $14 million per year, though. I think it's like 12. I could be wrong, though. But anyway, I just remember seeing the market value for all these guys, and I'm like, damn, and we got Adrian Amos for $9 million a year. In my opinion, James, that might be the steal of free agency. Adrian Amos for $9 million per year.
That was my favorite signing you guys had. He's one of the most underrated, not even just safety. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. Go watch his highlight tape, dude.
Yeah.
That boy can hit, first of all, which I love.
I think our GM said it best. I think he is just hitting his stride. I think he could be an all-pro, kind of like what Green Bay lost in Casey Hayward and Micah Hyde. There were 2 players who were good with the Packers, and we let them walk. And they have hit their stride elsewhere and become all-pro caliber players. I'm not saying Amos will be an all-pro caliber player.
I think he has potential.
I think so, too. I think he's at least a Pro Bowler. And then the 2 pass rushers we signed I really like. Preston Smith, I mean, both of them aren't, like number 1 guys, but both of them are going to get you 8 sacks per year. And I saw between the 2 of them, they had more pressures between the 2 of them than all of Green Bay did last year.
And I'm pretty sure Preston Smith plays the run really, really well as well.
Yes.
Which people don't understand. People want like a 15 sack a year guy, which is nice, but I'd rather have an 8 sack a year guy who can play the run rather than a 15 sack a year guy who gets ran by every single time because he's trying to rush the passer.
That's fair.
That's why I love Brandon Graham is not the best rusher of the quarterback. He's good at it. He gets a lot of pressures. he is probably the best run defending defensive end in the league. And
another thing with Graham is you can plug and play him anywhere, just about. He can play anywhere on that defensive line. And I think there's a lot of similarities between him and Za'Darius Smith's game too, because Smith, while is an edge rusher, on third down he's going to slip inside, get that inside pass rush going, and then we're going to put, I don't know, if we draft an edge rusher in the first round, he'll slide in on the edge, or Kyler Fackrell, who had a big year last year, one of those guys, and then we'll have three, really good pass rushers there on third down. So huge moves by Brian Gutekunst. I'm really happy about it. Looking forward to the draft. I don't know about you.
No, dude, I love the draft.
Absolutely. So some of the other moves we should talk about. Number one, I think we need to discuss Odell Beckham Jr. getting traded. I didn't think it was going to happen at all. What about you?
Welcome to the Alexa Prize.
I'm so happy it happened.
Competition to advance AI. I'll get you one of the social bots now.
Can you hear that?
Say stop.
Yeah.
That's my Alexa.
This is an Alexa Prize social
Alexa.
bot. How's it?
Stop.
Please say stop if you wish to end the conversation.
Stop.
Thanks for chatting. Quick question. On a scale from 1 to 5 stars, how do you feel about speaking with this social bot again?
3.
Thanks. Anything else you'd like to tell the team?
Nope, just shut up. Just shut up, please.
Got it. To try another social bot, just say, Alexa, let's chat.
All right, will do. Thank you. All right, back to this, James.
So, I love Odell Beckham so much, and I always hated that he was on the Giants because I just think he's the fucking man. He's literally the perfect receiver in my eyes when he's healthy. So glad he went to the Browns because everyone loves the Browns. Nobody cares that the Browns are going to start winning.
Unless you're in the AFC North, I don't see how anyone can truly dislike the Browns.
And tell me that Baker Mayfield throwing a TD to Odell and then going and dancing with him in the end zone isn't going to be the most delicious.
This looks, James, this is...
What'd you say?
I'm trying to think of the right analogy, but this is just so awesome for the city of Cleveland and the Browns fans. This offense looks really good on paper.
What was your friend who's a Giants fan saying about this? Because I don't even know what I would have done.
He's my friend William. He'll probably be listening to this when I post it. He's a little distraught right now. He loved OBJ. I think he had an OBJ jersey. I believe he even got one for his son. So I think that's going in the trash, maybe.
How does a blue blood franchise like the Giants, how are they ran that bad? I don't get it.
And we've talked about this, and we have both trashed David Gettleman a good amount these last few weeks. I don't know what their direction is. I really don't.
Why would you sign Odell to that contract and then trade him? Like, so you could just have a bunch of dead money.
Yeah, that is so bizarre. And he even said we're not signing him to trade him. It makes no sense.
And then lets him go and signs Golden Tate to a huge deal.
Yes.
But I retweeted a tweet the other day because obviously the biggest problem with the Giants is the fact that they can't move off of Eli.
Yes.
Dude, Eli Manning, I think it said since 2011, has the most losses in the league.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The most turnovers in the league, and the highest cap hit of anyone in the entire league over the past 9 years.
I'm not surprised to hear that, but I don't know what their direction is. It can all be mended if they pick a quarterback at number 6. Then I could be like, okay, I get it. But it doesn't. I'm not 100% sure they're going to take a quarterback. A few days ago, I heard they weren't. Today, I heard they are. I don't know.
Dude, they just got rid of their 2 best players. It's just insane to me on both sides of the
ball.
And
again, I don't know how you let Landon Collins walk. That's a lot of money, I know.
Odell Beckham is an Eagle killer. He's an everybody killer, but he always ate the Eagles up. I'm so glad we don't have to cover that man anymore. The Giants are going to be an easy dub this year.
Like, I just don't get it. Landon Collins is a dude you build around on your defense.
Exactly. Dude, he's he's already been an All-Pro twice,
and it's not like you have another guy on your defense that you're like, well, we're going to build around this guy. They don't.
Exactly.
They have some good players, but they're not a franchise guy on your defense. First of all, they overpaid for Olivier Vernon
Who's gone now?
by a lot. Yeah, and now he's with Cleveland. Just, it's bizarre to me.
I really wish Cleveland made a better head coaching hire. I'd be so
I know.
forced.
I think there's a lot of pressure on Freddie Kitchens now.
I just see that locker room just like being a fucking circus because of all the personalities and.
Yeah, this could either go really good or really bad.
I feel like Freddie Kitchens is like a Mike Tomlin, like he's gonna go be buddy,
yeah,
which is fine. That works as long as everything's going well. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think Baker will galvanize the locker room though. Players like playing for a player like that, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, talking about the Browns, man, this offense looks really good.
Wait till Kareem Hunt is back.
Kareem Hunt, what's that now?
Wait till he's back.
Oh, I know. They got a really good 1-2 punch in Kareem Hunt and what's the other dude's name? Nick Chubb. Baker Mayfield at quarterback. A really good interior offensive line. They need to work on their tackles, but a really good interior. Some weapons on the perimeter. A good tight end, I think, in David Njoku, who's just getting started. This could be a scary good offense.
Dude,
in a year or two.
My friend said something, and I thought it was so funny because it's so true. How pissed do you think Joe Thomas is right now?
You would think he's got to be pretty upset.
Dude, he played one of the best tackles of all time on the worst team of all time for the longest stretch, and as soon as he leaves, they get a quarterback and get good. It's so funny. Like,
yeah.
And like, I was kidding. I was there the other day. I was like, dude, really just go back and play. I know he can still play. Dude, he is like 5% body fat now.
I know.
Did you see the picture of him?
No, but I heard him on the Dan Patrick show this week.
Dude, he's ripped. He's
Is
fucking like 6'6" and ripped.
Yeah, I mean that happens to a lot of those tackles.
Yeah, because he had to stay fat to be a tackle, but like crazy. And the other thing that I thought was really funny in free agency is Antonio Brown and Vontaze Burfict are now on the same team.
The Raiders.
That's great, though. I love that.
I mean, I felt from the beginning, I didn't see a scenario where Antonio Brown was going to be back, and my friends were like, well, they're going to get a bunch of first-round picks for him. I'm like, no, they're not. The market is not that at all for him. And so when it came out, it was a third and a fifth. They were like, what the hell, you know? OBJ would be worth like 3. No, he's worth 1. Just nobody cares that much about wide receivers anymore. Exactly. And especially for Antonio Brown, who's 31 years old. But, yeah, I don't know what the Raiders are doing either. They're another team. I get what they're trying to do. And on paper, it seems like good moves, but they overpaid for Trent Brown. They overpaid for somebody else. I don't even remember. Probably Terrell Williams. I didn't see the contract, though. But he's all right. But
no, they did pick up a couple other players that are slipping my mind right now for some reason. But.
No, they've been very busy. But yeah, they're all slipping my mind right now. And then Vontaze Burfict. I don't know what you're doing, man. Vontaze Burfict. He's not the player you need in today's NFL. He's slow.
No, exactly. I agree.
He's fine. He was fine player 5 years ago, but not to mention all the off the field problems you get with him. But he's not a fit anymore. He's not a 3-down linebacker.
I think they're just trying to add some Raider attitude to the team with Antonio and Vontaze. Like, I think Vontaze can still be.
By the way, I think both of those are in a perfect situation in Oakland.
Why you say that?
Because Oakland deals with players like that all the time.
True.
I mean, they've never had an issue with signing egos ever. Al Davis's motto was just win.
I think they actually like almost prefer it, to be honest.
I know, but they're a mess. But they're not. It's not a horrible move. It's a good way to get started. Get a good draft this year. Maybe John Gruden can turn it around. But if they got to keep Derek Carr. I've dealt with a lot of friends who don't like Derek Carr, and I'm like, I can't even talk to you right now. I'm a huge Derek Carr fan. If you don't like him, I can't talk sports with you. But I really hope they don't move on from him. I hope he moves on from them, but I hope that I think they're making a mistake if they move on from him.
Sorry, I'm getting road rage here. But no, I definitely agree.
Yeah, we're both in the Derek Carr fan base.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think he's amazing, but I think he's more than good enough. He's not a bad player at all.
Yeah.
At all.
I don't think people realize what he hasn't had the last few years. He has really had nothing the last few years. He's had aging wide receivers. Michael Crabtree's not that good anymore. Jordy Nelson, I told you when Green Bay released... I told everyone when Green Bay released Jordy Nelson, I was like, he's not the same player. He wasn't the same player without when Aaron Rodgers wasn't in the lineup. He's not the same player anymore even with Aaron Rodgers. He's not that good. What did they do? They released him. I'm like, no shit, he's not that good. And I love Jordy Nelson with all my heart. There's a part of me that wishes he'd come back to Green Bay to finish his career. That's not going to happen. But he's not that good.
Yeah, but he'll be good with Aaron.
I know, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
I don't know. I feel like you could get him cheap.
We'll see. I think they've already said it's not going to happen. But I'm also very saddened with the Randall Cobb and Clay Matthews news.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I even felt that pain a little.
Just Randall Cobb. I love Randall Cobb. I've been meaning to get to an Instagram post here. That those two gave me so many memories this past decade, and they're both going to teams I hate now. Cobb's going to Dallas, and Clay's going to the Rams. It just makes me sick.
Or no, he went to the Rams.
Yeah, it makes me sick, and I don't really hate the Rams. I don't really care for them either. It's not like Dallas. Cobb going to Dallas hurts me. If he went anywhere else, I think I'd be okay with it, but going to Dallas really hurts. I had to unfollow him, man. I usually unfollow anyone that leaves Green Bay, but with Clay, I'm following him just because he's one of my favorite all-time players. But Randall, I'm like, I can't forgive you going to Dallas, man. Unfollow.
No. Absolutely.
How about Nick Foles? Your boy Nick Foles signing a big-time contract.
My man. Wish him the best of luck.
$88 million over 4 years, I believe. Do you think that's going to work out in Jacksonville?
Yep.
You think? I'm not so sure.
I don't see him being like a world beater or anything, but Nick Foles is. I would put him right in that Derek Carr class. I think he's more than serviceable. I think he can win a lot of games.
You think? Because I put Derek Carr at like the top 16 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
You really put Nick Foles in that conversation?
I've watched his last 10 games. Go watch his last 10 games. That he's
I love Nick Foles. I love Nick Foles. I'm not sure I'd put him up there.
You know, I don't think he's even close to as good as Wentz.
No.
Foles' problem isn't his talent; it's his consistency. But he's
a guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's always guys who are just comfortable in just one city and one system, and it works for them. It's worked for Foles. I'm curious to see how he handles outside of it.
He is just he just plays out of his mind when he has to, and that's a he's got that Eli Manning trait to him in that sense.
That's true.
So,
but I don't think this puts Jacksonville over the top.
No, not at all. But I do think now Jacksonville isn't going to have a quarterback that's losing them games.
Right.
And that they're winning in spite of. You know what I mean?
Well, they're going to find out real quick, though, they have other issues than quarterback play.
No, for sure.
I'm trying to think of anything else. More Browns than I'm just thinking they got really good on just in general. They signed Sheldon Rankins, who's really good. Ian Rappaport has something.
Sheldon Richardson.
What's that?
Sheldon Richardson. Sheldon Rankins is still on the Saints.
I'm sorry. Yes, Sheldon Richardson. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Sheldon Rankins just tore his Achilles. So.
But yeah, really, that's a really good front four right there.
Right.
Shit, what's his name? Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, and I think what is his name? Larry something maybe, I don't remember. There are other DT, but yeah. Do you think the Browns win that division? I want to ask that.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still hard to look past Pittsburgh.
Easily the most talented team, but it's like at the end of the day, dude, it's like. But, dude, all the good quarterbacks make that jump in year two. So if Baker can come back and be like a 35 TD, 10 touchdown quarterback, I do think that. But I just don't know, man. You can't just be like, okay, I've literally seen Cleveland win like a handful of games the last 10 years and just be like, oh yeah, now they're going to win that division. No question.
I think this division got a lot easier this past offseason. The Bengals aren't going to do anything. I'll be shocked if they get any better this offseason. The Ravens are regressing. They just lost like 5 starters on defense. They did replace Eric Weddle, but it's Earl Thomas too. But also a very young quarterback. Who knows? The Browns are really good now, but they have question marks. I still think Pittsburgh's the favorite in that division, even though they've lost Antonio Brown.
Yep, I agree.
Anything else you wanted to touch up on for the NFL? I'm blanking here.
Oh, Kyler Murray's going to go number 1 overall.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement there. Just the more it comes out, I think the Cardinals met with him today or yesterday. I don't remember. More and more information comes out, he's going number 1.
I don't even think they're really trying to hide it at this point.
Yeah, I don't either. I want back to the Giants real quick. Just I don't know what the reports are coming out. I think the other day it was they haven't done any homework on Dwayne Haskins. Today I'm hearing that they actually have done some homework on Dwayne Haskins and they like him. What do you think?
They're morons, dude.
They're gonna. It looks like they might have an opportunity again this year to have the best quarterback in the draft fall into their laps,
and they might not take him. I heard that they are sizing up Josh Rosen too.
Because if Haskins doesn't go to the Cardinals, which it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, unless a team moves up to get him, he's gonna be there at 6. I don't see the 49ers getting him. I don't see the Jets taking him. I don't see the Raiders taking him, although I think that's the team to watch. The Bucks, I think, are fine with Jameis Winston right now, which I think is a mistake. But he'll be there at 6 if he's there. And, hey, I will strangle Gettleman myself if he passes on a quarterback again.
I don't think they're going to take him. I mean, I don't know.
That's so dumb.
But I don't. Well, have you seen what they've done the past fucking 3 years?
Oh, I know. And I don't disagree with you. Just, I've been mocking him there, but now, like, I'm hearing all these different reports. I think the Giants are a mess right now. I really do.
Understatement. But yes,
that is an understatement. Trying to think of what else. Are the Jets going to be good this year?
Yes.
You think?
I already said the Jets are going to win games.
How many games?
9.
That's fair. I'd say 500. And they usually draft pretty well too.
I was gonna say, but I just like the fact that they have an offensive head coach now, and they have like a top 3 defensive coordinator. So they have somebody who can really handle both sides of the ball. I think Sam Darnold's good. Now they have Le'Veon.
Yeah, I don't think people realize Sam Darnold was playing really well at the end of the year.
He's not a bad player once his processing speed picks up. Because what I always hear about Sam Darnold is that he's just very instinctual and he just plays on instinct, and you can't win consistently like that in the NFL. You need to be going through your progressions and reading defenses and shit. That's something that comes with age. I mean, you get better at that. I mean, quarterbacks don't master that until they're literally in their early 30s. So he has time. He's only going to get back. Big, strong, quick, has a big arm. I think he's going to be fun.
I think he is going to be. I think he's going to surpass all the rookie quarterbacks from last year and year 2. I think he's going to be the best year 2 quarterback this coming year.
The only reason I disagree is just because Baker has.
I know. I know.
At his disposal.
That's fair, and I think that's a very fair.
The thing I love about Baker, and not to say that Sam, Baker's working right now, bro.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I'll tell you what. Just came to me. Another team I thought did of some very underrated things, the Buffalo Bills.
No, they didn't, dude.
I disagree. They got Josh Allen, some playmakers.
Dude, they got John Brown.
John Brown's a deep threat.
Okay, and I like that move. Cole Beasley.
I'll give you Cole Beasley. That was trash.
Looks like my son, and Josh Allen can't throw an accurate ball. He's not going to be able to hit Cole Beasley in the freaking chest.
I'll give you that one. Yeah, Cole Beasley. But they signed an offensive lineman. I think that's pretty good. I don't remember who, but off the top of my head, I'll have to look it up.
Well, I think we covered most of the free agency there. It was a good one.
It was very entertaining.
This is why the NFL is easily the best league in the United States, because it's never not good.
Yeah, I actually did a report yesterday. I did a PowerPoint presentation on the NFL and their international series. Frank Gore, another one, the ageless Frank Gore.
Frank Gore and LaShawn McCoy are combined at like 70 years old.
Adrian Waddle, the tackle from the Patriots, not terrible. Kevin Johnson, the corner from Houston, not terrible. Tyler Kroft, the tight end from Cincinnati, not terrible. Mitch Morse, the center from Kansas City, pretty good player. That's about it. I said under the radar. I didn't say that they were one of the better teams, but I thought under the radar.
They just, I wish Josh Allen didn't go there. You know that was my boy before the draft.
Yeah, I love me some Josh Allen. I hope it works out with him, but Buffalo hasn't been good since the Jim Kelly days. All right.
All right, man.
Yeah, so I don't really have anything. You want to talk about March Madness real quick?
We can. I don't have much to say.
I don't either.
College basketball sucks.
It does. It is unwatchable just about. But March Madness is always fun.
Cool. March Madness is cool. College basketball sucks.
Yeah. Who are you picking to win it all?
Duke.
Yeah, same.
Surprise,
I think
surprise.
the majority of the country's going Duke. I don't like any other team.
But you know what's really cool? Like in my bracket, and it ended up being North Carolina Duke. So that was cool.
Yeah. I'm close. I don't have that. I think I have Duke, Kentucky, but I think whoever comes out on the right side of the bracket is going to come from that North Carolina Kentucky bracket.
Agreed.
But my Final Four right now is tentatively Duke, Gonzaga, Tennessee, and Kentucky.
I could say I think mine was Duke, Virginia, North Carolina, and I think Tennessee too.
Virginia and Tennessee are in the same bracket.
Oh shoot! I forget. I did it like 2 days, or no, I did it yesterday for my office. We're doing like an office one, so damn, I forget.
Well, Gonzaga and Michigan are the top 2 seeds on the
Michigan. That was
Michigan.
Michigan.
That's not a bad pick. Beeline's a really good March coach. But yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about, man. You got any final thoughts?
Go Birds.
Go Pack, go. That's all I got too.
Go Birds. All right, buddy. Good to talk to you.
Always a pleasure. We'll probably do this next week.
All right, man. I'll text you.
All right, later.